Okay, let's just get right to it. What is the worst song ever? I mean, it's a question that's probably launched a million memes and maybe even ended a few friendships, right? Well, today we're going to go on a quest to find the answer. But what we're going to find is actually way more interesting than just a single song title. So let's dive in.
So yeah, the big one, the ultimate bad song.
I mean, it's a fun question, right? A great debate to have with your friends. But here's the thing. It's also surprisingly tricky. Like, you can't just punch this into a calculator and get some definitive answer. And the reason for that, well, that gets to the real problem with the question itself.
Yeah, it's pretty much an impossible question.
Okay, so this really gets to the heart of it, right? It all comes down to subjective taste. I mean, music is art, and art, well, it's personal. Think about it. That screeching guitar solo that you just can't stand, a rock historian might call it a work of pure genius. That cheesy pop chorus that makes you cringe, to someone else that's like a nostalgic masterpiece from their childhood. It's just not math. There's no single right answer for what's good or bad.
So what do we do? Well, here's the key. We have to kind of reframe the question. Instead of asking what's objectively the worst song, let's ask something a little different. What song is famous for being widely criticized or mocked? You see the difference? We're talking about reputation. Which tracks became total legends for how much backlash they got? Now that's a question we can really sink our teeth into.
All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at some of the most famous worst song contenders.
And of course, we have to start with this one. You knew it was coming, right? Rebecca Black's Friday. Back in 2011, this song didn't just get released, it basically detonated online. It was an instant, absolutely inescapable phenomenon. And oh man, the criticism was just relentless. People tore it apart for its super simple lyrics. You know, gotta have my bowl, gotta have cereal. And that really, really heavy use of autotune. It basically became the poster child for everything people thought was wrong with manufactured pop music.
But here's the funny thing, the big irony. All that mockery, all those hate clicks, they actually turned Friday into one of the most famous viral songs in internet history. The backlash didn't bury it. It made it immortal. It's this perfect example of how infamy and fame can be like two sides of the same coin. And you'll see this pattern again with our next contender.
Okay, next up, Justin Bieber's Baby. Now this song was a massive commercial hit, no doubt about it. It came from one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. But at the same time, it became this magnet for a crazy amount of online hate.
For years, Baby was one of the most disliked videos on YouTube. And the hate, it wasn't just about the song. It became a symbol. It was a lightning rod for anyone who was just over the whole Bieber phenomenon. Hitting that dislike button was like a way of pushing back against mainstream pop culture.
And hey, this isn't just something that happened in the early 2010s. More recently, you had Lil Pump's Gucci Gang, which dropped in just immediately split everyone right down the middle.
And the divide was just so clear. On one side, you had the critics saying it was repetitive and shallow. I mean, the phrase Gucci Gang is in there over 50 times. But on the other side, you had the fans who thought it was catchy and iconic. For them, that exact same repetition was what made it this hypnotic trap anthem. It's a perfect example of how one person's repetitive is another person's catchy.
So, we've looked at the viral sensation, the pop culture punching bag, the modern hit that splits the room. So what's the real answer here?
Okay, let's put it all together. The real answer revealed.
And here it is, the big takeaway. There is no universal worst song. It just doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. So why do some songs get stuck with that label?
Well, usually when we call a song bad, it just means it clashes with something. It might clash with our expectations for what a song is supposed to sound like. Or maybe it clashes with popular trends at the time. Or, most of the time, it just clashes with our own personal taste. It's not that the song failed objectively, it's just a subjective mismatch.
But wait, there's one last, really fascinating twist to this whole thing. Something that kind of turns the entire idea of a worst song on its head.
And it's a weird truth. It's a bit of a paradox.
Sometimes the worst songs, they become the most unforgettable. And that's the beautiful irony, isn't it? I mean, think about it. You've probably forgotten thousands of perfectly fine, totally average songs you've heard in your life. But I bet you haven't forgotten Friday. You'll never forget the songs that made you laugh or cringe or argue with your friends about how terrible they were. Their badness is exactly what makes them legendary. That controversy is what gives them a permanent spot in our culture. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What terrible song can you just not forget? What's that one song you'd say is awful, but for some reason, it's stuck in your head forever? Because chances are, that song isn't really the worst ever made. It's just one of the most unforgettable. Thanks for diving into this with me.